What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. And in today's video, we are rocking around the Christmas Trevenant as we look at a very strong Ultra League team that uses Trevenant as a way to core break the meta, as we know that it is currently very centered around Poliwrath and things that counter Poliwrath, and a lot of those things are weak to Greninja and Trevenant. And we use Drapion on the save swap because I love my Shadow Drapion. Haven't seen a lick of Cobalion lately, and I feel like it would be a very good save swap to be able to draw out things that Greninja doesn't want to deal with, such as maybe some fairies, sort of. I mean, if they don't fear the Sludge Bomb, obviously. Or specifically, Poliwrath. We're using this team to lure out the Poliwrath, let Trevenant farm it down, let Greninja sweep. So let's take a look at the battles here, and let's get into it. Now, you could certainly try to run something like, you know, another grass type over Trevenant like Virizion, but I really feel like Trevenant has it has everything you need, right? So I get a really awkward lead in Clefable here. Start the video, start our video off here. Seed Bomb, not even going to get a shield. Opponent doesn't even, you know, they don't fear it. They're not afraid. But I need to get rid of this Clefable, or at least get it very, very low in order to try and make this more manageable. Now I call the Moonblast as it's, or I call it as a Moonblast, right? Either way, I was going to let it go. My opponent comes in with their Drifblim, and so I'm thinking here to myself, okay, I'm going to save my Drapion to potentially deal with the Clefable later in the game. Greninja's going to come in, get a lot of damage off on this Drifblim. Should easily be able to eat anything because all Drifblim has is resisted damage here. So Icy Wind doesn't matter, Mystical Fire doesn't matter, Shadow Ball doesn't matter. Now, I'm not sure if I get a full farm down here. If I have to, I'll pull off a Night Slash if I need to, but the name of the game when you play Greninja, if you're not already aware, look to get energy as much as you can. If you're good with energy, and of course they have a Greninja in the back as well. So this is also very awkward as well for my Drapion, for my Trevenant. So I pop in my Drapion immediately here in order to start either getting ahead on energy as well, but also to clear the debuff for my own Greninja. If my own Greninja can come back in with that much energy, I'm probably going to have a good time. So I go immediately for Sludge Bomb. In case opponent tries to call an Aquatail or a Crunch here, Sludge Bomb does get the shield, and they are just going to continue to sling off moves, as, you know, exactly like I just said. They're going for the energy, right? But my Greninja has so much energy that it probably won't make a lick of difference here, as I need to really just try to get rid of this Greninja. It's probably the biggest thorn in my side at the moment. Even the Clefable is not going to be as much of a pain here as this other Greninja is. So I have two shields. I'm going to use them, or at least one of them here. And the opponent has an Aerial Ace Greninja, which is absolutely stunning. I have not seen one yet, and thankfully I haven't been on the receiving end of one that when it actually mattered, but opponent does go for the Clefable swap in here. I come in with my Trevenant to force them to want to throw their energy, and they do. So now I just need my Greninja to come in, but those Fairy Winds are chunking. And I didn't really notice that until I came back in. So I need to be able to get rid of this, but thankfully they throw instead of going for an extra Fairy Wind, which could have potentially put me within range for a Water Shuriken to matter here. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon because I'm going to get to both moves at the same time, but definitely would have preferred to just go for a Night Slash at that point, but why not, right? So good game, well played. Through the entire time this week that I've been playing Ultra League, Trevenant really stood out to me as something that core breaks a lot of these teams where I've been seeing things like Cresselia, Tapu Fini, Poliwrath, teams like that. Of course, as soon as I put the Trevenant in my team, they're all gone. Go figure. So I'm going to go immediately to Drapion after I get the first shield here, save some energy on my Trevenant. The Charm 8-9 is a big pain. I'm going to eat the Weather Ball. And there's the Cobalion that I haven't seen in months. Thankfully, I think it's the only one I've seen, aside from the one that we saw in the video back in, we were playing the Regirock team. I think it was a Regirock. Was it? No. Yeah, it was a Regirock team. Yep. So, able to get a couple of crunches off. The opponent will have to throw their energy here in order to take me out, because I will get them dangerously close to being KO'd. And Trevenant doesn't care. This is what Trevenant does. Yes, okay, Drapion may have lured out a Cobalion and gotten hard countered, but one, that Cobalion's no longer here to deal with my Greninja, and two, Trevenant just farms this bad boy down. I don't even care. I did shield one Stone Edge. I need to shield one of the Stone Edges here. I do want to keep my Trevenant alive because I feel like it'll be useful. Opponent immediately swaps in the Ninetales here, and I'm either going to need to get the two charge moves with my Trevenant, hopefully, or since they let that go, I come in with my Greninja. I have to eat a couple of charms, but I get a couple of moves, and so I get some energy. Now it's up to my opponent to see what they have in the back. And I have a Poliwrath. I'm top lefting. I don't win that game. Well done to my opponent. Good game. Hard countered, baby. Nothing I can do. But this here, so the Poliwrath is back. Okay, Poliwrath swaps out. In comes Clefable. I immediately swap in my Drapion here. I have a really good response. I just need to land a Sludge Bomb. So I'm going to shield up once. I feel like this is probably the Moonblast, and I would rather shield the Moonblast once, forces the opponent to want to throw another one. I'm going to farm up to back-to-back or near back-to-back Sludge Bombs, make them really think about shielding. They want to give up both shields in this situation? No, they'll let the Clefable go. And that is fine with me, because now they come back in with the Poliwrath, but my Drapion's loaded. They're going to have to use energy and multiple moves or a lot of counters to get rid of my Drapion, and it's gotten to 2 Sludge Bombs before they were able to throw a single move so far. So Drapion putting in a ton of work right now. Opponent not having a solid response to it really helped here. So now they're going to go for a charge move. They go for, they full send the Skull. They go for a full send the Skull, right? That's exactly how I was going to say it. So they come in with a Steelix now, and I'm going to go for my Greninja. My Greninja was coming in regardless anyway, I think. Excuse me. Because, I mean, that's all I had left, right? And Trevenant really doesn't have... It doesn't really have the play into Steelix that I would like to have. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use up my Greninja in this case. I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannons now. Thankfully, I got a shield with the Night Slash. The Steelix always play the same way. They're like Pidgeot, dude. They always go for the Breaking Swipe right away. Always shield the first move. So I'm like, all right, I'll just throw a Night Slash at you. I was hoping I would get a boost, honestly. But able to live that one last Dragon Tail to get this next Hydro Cannon off. I was just simply going to save the shield for Trevenant regardless, so it could deal with the Poliwrath. But opponent goes for the Icy Wind. I don't need to shield this, but I'm going to anyway, just out of, you know, I guess it's out of respect, I guess. Just because I don't want to have something happen where for some reason I lose the game because I didn't shield, right? Like, there's no real reason for it. It's just a thing. I don't know. But good game to them. They kind of got hard countered to a degree, but... Alright, Sand Slash lead, really awkward. I would rather have Greninja on this, so I'm going to dip into my Drapion. I do get to a move before they get to a Drill Run, but my opponent comes in with a Tapu Fini, which is interesting. I'm throwing the Sludge Bomb. They don't shield it. And I know from, and I'm going to be honest, I have played Drapion for many seasons. I have a lot of matchup knowledge with Drapion. I know that if I land that Sludge Bomb, I can farm all the way down. And they threw way too early for that to be a Moonblast. Had they thrown at a Moonblast, I would have shielded it, for sure. But since they threw at the Surf, they threw it like, 14 or 15 Water Guns. I'm not shielding it. And I can farm all the way down. I come out with 2 Crunches. My opponent and I CMP tie here. I build up to back-to-back Crunches to try and threaten them, but I'm like, is this really worth my energy? No. I'm going to save 2 shields for Greninja. I got the alignment I wanted. I'm happy enough with that. The opponent stays in. Clearly either wants to get some damage off or does not have an answer. And when they shield or not, this tells me, right? So my opponent shields here. That tells me what they don't like is this Greninja. They don't have an answer to it in the back. I'm going to shield to keep it healthy. Opponent goes for the Drill Run, trying to get rid of it, and they are going to go for the catch here, which is very nicely done by them. That was a very well done catch. Excuse me. I go for the Hydro Cannon here into the Jellicent, which is unfortunate, but at this point, I'm fine. And that's one of the nice things about this team, okay? Jellicent has become one of the most common things in the Ultra League, and I even played this team the day I say today, but this is like, you know, for you today. It's like Wednesday or Thursday. For me today, this is Sunday. I had to record it on Sunday just to, you know, make sure it was done and not something I had to put off to the last minute because I'm so bad at that. But Jellicent is all over the place. My opponent doesn't even throw Shadow Ball. I'm like, just throw the Shadow Ball. It takes less energy for you to just throw 2 Shadow Balls than it takes for you to throw multiple Surfs. And so I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball here after the opponent swaps back in. Take out the Alolan Sand Slash. I was just going to save my shield for the Greninjas. That was my win condition regardless. So good game. Opponent, well played. But yeah, Jellicent becoming one of the most common things in this meta because it breaks the Talonflame, the Cresselia, the Tapu Fini, the Poliwrath, and it also beats Tentacruel. Like, it has definitely become one of the most common things in the Ultra League now. So this team very much dunks on it. Now, opponent comes in with a Swampert. Way I play this one out, I let them throw. Okay? I bring out a Swampert. Trevenant walls Swampert. So if they Earthquake in here, fine. I come in with Trevenant, overload on energy, but the opponent goes for Hydro Cannon because maybe they think I'm going to shield. I've seen a lot more people at like and this isn't disrespectful by any means, but like the higher in elo I get with a Drapion safe swap, I notice more people just Earthquake it, which is what you should be doing. Just full send the Earthquake. No, I mean, I'm not shielding it personally, but if someone else does, then I guess so be it. But now that my Trevenant comes in fully healthy, I can overfarm on energy, and my goal here is to come out with enough energy to get to a Shadow Ball within 2 more Shadow Claws after I throw this Seed Bomb. So right here, I can do that. And I'm either going to come in with my Greninja or go for the Shadow Ball. Kind of depends how I'm feeling at the moment. Right now, I decide I'm coming in with Greninja because I'm going to get 2... I get 2 Water Shuriken advantage just because they throw Incinerate. So that was my thinking. I get such a huge energy lead, and then they come in with Giratina, and I get a boost, and this game's over, dude. Like, not only did I have the Greninja to sweep this back, too, but also I got the boost. The opponent gets the Ancient Power. Thankfully, not going to make a difference here, as the Night Slashes are just going to overwhelm this Giratina far too quickly, and all I need really is just one Hydro Cannon. So at this point, I'm going to shield. I'm going to farm all the way down, even though it's resisted. That boost is going to help. And I just fire off 2 Hydro Cannons into the Talonflame and take the game, and that's going to be a good game well played. Now, I didn't have to go for that Water Shuriken. I think I just did just in case I wasn't at back-to-back, just because I've had that happen before where it's like so close and it looks like you're back-to-back and then you're not. So, taking it out, that's going to be a good game. Boom! Well played. Kind of playing the opposite end of the RPS triangle with Poliwrath, right? Like, if I play 2 things in the back that are weak to it, it seems like more of the meta is on the other side, where they're trying to build so strong to Poliwrath that they're weak to the Pokemon in the back. So, Greninja and Drapion really just going off. And I played this more than just a couple sets. I played this on the Friday... No, was it? Yeah, no. I played a couple of games with this on Saturday night, and they got me with a Blizzard, dude! Boom! I was like, they've either got Scald or they got Acid Spray, and I'm just going to deal with it. But they hit me with a full-ass Blizzard, dude. So now I have to try and come back from that. So Trevenant, or not Trevenant, Trevenant got destroyed. Trevenant is gone. It hit the Ice Age, and then it went way back even further than that. So they got a Scald. They even get the attack debuff. I'm going to go, even though the Poison Jab damage is resisted, I'm going to go for the Crunch here just to prevent myself from taking even more damage. Then they live on 1 HP, so I swap in my Greninja to get the energy lead, and then my opponent's not. And then my opponent swaps in Trevenant. And at this point, I've you know, little light bulb goes off in my head that says, if this is their best answer to Greninja, maybe this is winnable. As soon as I let the Trevenant go to the Blizzard, I thought I was going to lose. I'm going to be honest with y'all. So it's going to depend on what their third is here. But going for Night Slash to try and get that shield. I need to shield this Trevenant, but I can absolutely outpace to the Night Slashes. And because they shield, that tells me they are weak in the back to Greninja. I'm going for the Night Slash right away to get the KO. I don't care about timing. Get the Trevenant out of here. There's the Shadow Claw Giratina in the back. This trainer, unfortunately, not having any response after that Tentacruel is gone to the Greninja. And this is what I'm talking about, folks. I'm an avid lover of using Greninja. You all know this of me. I'm a Skeletor's enthusiast. I'm a Greninja enthusiast. And I'm a Golisopod enthusiast. And by God, is Greninja one of the most satisfying things to use in the Ultra League, as you get things like that, where you just destroy a whole team because Greninja goes off. Well played to the opponent. Getting into the next battle here, we've got a Dragonite on the lead. This is an absolutely nightmare lead for me because Trevenant really gets outpaced on damage here. Greninja not really having a good time. Gonna go straight for the Drapion, go for the Crunch immediately as I get to the Crunch before they could get to a charge move. And I get an early shield, which is nice. Get the defense drop, opponent staying in, going for a charge move. Kind of have to shield back, though, unfortunately, in order to make sure I get this Crunch off. But the opponent staying in here is helpful. They come in with a Registeel, and so, okay. I'm like, all right. I don't really know what I'm going to do here. But one of the most common things that I've seen alongside Dragonite is Jellicent. And so, if I have a chance at winning this game, I'm hoping that maybe that's how I do it. Opponent going for the move immediately here with their Registeel. I'm going to let this go. I really cannot afford to invest a shield in this, so I'm going to let Trevenant come in. It walls the energy, so if they somehow do get to a move before I get to the Shadow Ball, so be it. But I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball just because I want to leave the HP on my Trevenant. I want to leave it somewhat healthy, right? I mean, if I can leave it healthy, it lives long enough to deal with this Dragonite to a degree. It can tank a Dragon Claw if it needs to, and if I can get the Dragonite low enough to put it into Hydro Cannon range, even Greninja can deal with it. So So I'm saving the shield for Greninja, and I'm going to see what's going to happen here. Poliwrath in back would be horrible, but I'm just going to reach for this Shadow Ball. Hope that whatever's in the back is going to be fine. Going to go into Greninja here, and the opponent staying in. Going to go almost going to go for the move, but they get there before I do, and so I'm going to go immediately for Night Slash here, because that would be enough to take out the Dragonite, and the opponent has not swapped out yet, so I'm not sure if they have an answer in the back or not to Greninja, but there's the Jellicent, one of the most common things in the entire Ultra League to pair with the Dragonite, aside from a literal Steel type, which is what they had. Usually it'll be like Dragonite double Steel, or it'll be Dragonite with a Jellicent and a Steel, like you just saw. Those are some common teams, and if anybody who is still watching is interested, you know, I get this knowledge from common teams, right? So you can get this knowledge as well. If you study some common teams, you know, check the YouTube channel. But I'm also doing a team building seminar on Metafy. Please check out the link in the pinned comment description for that, as I'll be covering a lot of things in that lesson. And one of them being team reading, which is a really helpful thing for folks to find, you know, to use, even though I don't get them right all the time. Using that knowledge that you've got stored up there can help. So opponent counter swaps the Poliwrath into the Drapion. They have the Talonflame lead. I get out right away. Drapion is going to be able to get a shield here, as the opponent, I'm assuming, is just going to go straight for Icy Wind, as I would expect anyone who shields their Poliwrath right away like that. Now, the nice thing here is that the opponent cannot just simply counter me down, or at least they might be able to now. I know that if I counter swap and I don't take an Incinerate from it, they can't, but in this case, they do. If you don't take the full Incinerate damage, like if they have something else in the lead that doesn't really do a whole ton of damage to Drapion, like, you know, the Alolan Sand Slash or something like that, you can actually live to get to another Sludge Bomb. But in this case, unfortunately, the Incinerate was too much damage, but it's also IV dependent, I guess, too, right? So Greninja's hopefully going to be the sweeper here. Going for the Talonflame, the opponent's got a Greedent in the back, and now this is getting interesting, okay? So, if they have Trail Blaze, sucks. Otherwise, they're just going to have Body Slam. I have 2 shields, and I have to manage them well here. I also have to remember that there is indeed a Talonflame back there that has at least 2, I think maybe 2 or 3 Incinerates. I'm going to mind my timing here. Opponent will get to another move. I take 1 Body Slam because I can. Mud Shots don't really scare me too much. Greninja doesn't have a lot of defensive weight to it, but it sure can tank some Mud Shots. So I'm going to go for more Hydro Cannons here. And if they decide not to shield it, at that point, I would have definitely gone for Night Slashes after that if they had no shielded. But they did shield, so I could go straight Hydro Cannon. Try to catch a move here, but... or not here, but I'm going to look to try after this one. Now, I'm making sure that I'm keeping very careful count of their energy here, and I look to swap because they were 3 away, and I figured they would try to throw right away. So, going to be able to take the Body Slam here, but the opponent's got that Talonflame. It's doing so much damage, dude! But because I stored the Hydro Cannon on Greninja, it didn't matter because I knew I was going to win CMP coming back in. As long as I didn't get the lag, I was good. We take out Talonflame. And Green goes down to Water Shurikens. Very good game. Well played. Getting into the next battle here, we're going to have Trevenant on the lead versus the Nidoqueen. This is a really awkward lead because it can just go, it can run straight through Trevenant. So I come in with my Drapion looking to go for crunches here, and we're just gonna have to see how the opponent plays this out. Like they could go for a bait here, but I'm always gonna shield this up in case it is the Earth Power. I would really rather not just lose my whole Drapion to an Earth Power, which thankfully we get the good shield. Opponent has a Talonflame in the back here as they swap in, keeping that. I really wish they hadn't swapped this in because I could have got my Greninja on it. I would have been much happier with that. But gonna go for another crunch here, hopefully looking to get a shield, and at this point I should be able to sick my Greninja on this Talonflame afterwards. Now, the way that this game goes, if my memory is correct here, is very unfortunate, and I make a crucial mistake playing this game. So I come in with Greninja, they get the attack boost. What I want to do here is I want to get a full farm down. I'm shielding a move here, not keeping track of energy. I'm looking at their HP bar going, man, if I could get in 3 more. I look like I could get it, but they survive on 1 HP, and I don't throw a move like a bozo. If I threw there, they Brave Bird. You know what? They get it, okay?
Boom!
They get it. Brave Bird, and then what's in the back? Jellicent. If I don't go down to that Brave Bird, and I have the energy, I win this game. Easy. Greninja just sweeps. Like, it one-shots the Nidoqueen at the HP range it was at. They get another one. I give it to him.
Boom!
Opponent deserves that. absolutely gets the respect because they played well. All right, so Cryogonal. Oh, dude, I don't know what I know. I remember this thing has Solar Beam. Okay, so I come in with Greninja because I'm like, I don't know this thing's full move set. I haven't studied it. I just know that it's a thing. Opponent running some Spice, safe swap Cryogonal here, and I respect it. So I'm going to shield up what could potentially be a Solar Beam, and they go for the triple Axle, so I know for sure that this next one is not a Solar Beam because they only go for 2 more Ice Shards. There's no way that's going to be enough. So they just let it go. They take the shield advantage and run with it. Opponent's got an Ampharos. I'm going to go for the Night Slash here, and I see a path to victory because the opponent has Jellicent. The rest of my team kind of slaps Jellicent. The opponent not going for a charge move here. They were looking for that farm down. I'm able to force a shield off of them now, which is very nice here. And I swap immediately into Drapion, and the opponent then swaps into the Jellicent. And this is not a great decision here, unfortunately, for the opponent because Drapion will destroy the Jellicent. As with the Trevenant, I think maybe they're just trying to get me to use up my energy and maybe whittle down the Drapion, which certainly would make sense to me. That's about the only sense I can make of this swap in by the opponent here. But like, I would have maybe thought they would have thrown some energy into the Drapion. Like, I for sure would have looked to shield that if they had done that. But the opponent decides to surrender as they know that they've lost. That's a very good game here. Well played. Another team that triple slaps the absolute hell out of Poliwrath. But back-to-back 4-1s with this team is good enough for me. Really strong team. Get to show off my shiny rank 1 Ultra League Greninja yet again. And I will take that opportunity any damn chance I can get it. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you check out the link in the pinned description and the comment here, or pinned comment in description, goodness, for ways to support the channel and that Metafy link. So thank you all so much. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.